Hey, what's going on everybody? It's Monday, February 4th. A warm welcome back to Foxy Games UK. I'm Fox, your reliable source of aggregated video game news, speculation, and rampant rumour. Just a quick heads up in case you missed it, the Gamer Couch podcast returns, aired live yesterday. It was a good time and will remain a weekly fixture with scheduling of each Sunday at 5 PM ET and 10 PM UK. Link in the description, go check it out. Now in today's news, Microsoft are planning to bring Xbox Live and cross-platform gaming to Nintendo Switch, Android devices and more, but no PlayStation partnership has been announced so far. But given Xbox and PlayStation are direct competitors, more so than Nintendo, that kinda makes sense. But what does this all mean for Nintendo and mobile consumer markets? Sourced via Jez Corden at Windows Central, link in the description, here's the full story. So at GDC 2019, that's the Game Developer Conference, Microsoft is set to debut a new cross-platform development platform with the goal of bringing Xbox Live support to games on Android, iOS, Nintendo Switch. That's in addition to PC and Xbox platforms. Microsoft already has a few games with Xbox Live support across mobile devices, most notably via Minecraft, which requires an Xbox Live login on Android, iOS, and incidentally Nintendo Switch. But until now, Microsoft reserved Xbox Live support on those platforms for its own games, but now Microsoft is aiming to bring Xbox Live cross-platform play to even more titles, which is good news. Developers will be able to bake cross-platform Xbox Live achievements, social systems, and multiplayer into games built for mobile devices and Nintendo Switch as part of its division-wide effort to grow Xbox Live's user base. Now, this information comes from the GDC 2019 scheduling website describing Microsoft's future plans for Xbox Live, and Microsoft also plans to leverage its powerful PlayFab suite of back-end tools as part of this package, aiming to streamline the process for developers building live games across multiple platforms. Here's a quote from Microsoft. Xbox Live is one of the largest, most engaged gaming communities on the planet, with decades of experience providing managed game services to developers that save you time and unlock all of the social and engagement features that players have come to love. Now, Xbox Live is about to get much bigger. Xbox Live is expanding from 400 million gaming devices and a reach to over 68 million active players to over 2 billion devices with the release of our new cross-platform XDK. Now, get a first look at SDK to enable games developed and to connect players between iOS, Android, and Switch, in addition to Xbox and any game in the Microsoft Store on Windows PCs. Xbox Live players are highly engaged and active on Xbox and PC, but now they can take their gaming achievement history, their friends list, their clubs, and more with them to almost every screen, breaking down barriers for developers that really want their communities to mingle more freely across platforms. Combined with PlayFab gaming services, this means less work for game developers and more time to focus on making games fun. Interesting. So there's a large disconnect between the playstyles of mobile gamers when compared to PC and console gamers, but the gap is closing thanks to games like Minecraft, Fortnite, and PlayerUnknown's Battleground, abbreviated to PUBG, which have all seen gigantic mobile engagement alongside their PC and console audiences. Clearly, Microsoft sees an opportunity to be at the fore of that trend, and they were serious about that 2 billion players, ladies and gentlemen. Now, as mobile devices become more viable as core gaming platforms, Microsoft's service presence on platforms like Android and iOS is becoming increasingly crucial. Combining this new SDK and streaming services like Project X Cloud, Microsoft has a chance to tap into a huge new market, while also bringing traditional game developers on PC and console along for the ride. It'll be interesting to see if the Redmond firm can pull it off. Now, here are my thoughts. Wow, they really are serious about those 2 billion players, and we were discussing this just on the Gamer Couch podcast yesterday, discussing the technological advances being made in the mobile gaming space, in that the near future the power differentials between portable and set-top will narrow, particularly in light of the Switch's very successful hybrid portable console functionality. It does make me wonder if hybrid gaming is indeed the future, and now we have this latest Microsoft Xbox news. So could we eventually experience full Xbox games on the go using Nintendo's Switch? I'd say that's a distinct possibility, almost certain. Stand by for more on that in the coming weeks. And in other news, Paul Tassi at Forbes.com has ripped into Microsoft exclusive Crackdown 3 with scathing criticism, and the worst still for Microsoft Game Studios. Forbes are not the only high-profile media outlet to do so. Here's the full story. So with just under 2 weeks until release, Xbox's first-party exclusive Crackdown 3 still looks abysmal. Now the latest bit of eye-poppingly bad gameplay on display is from Crackdown 3's multiplayer mode, the one which contains all the cloud-based destruction which was supposed to be staple of the entire game, but was then relegated to multiplayer, and that in turn has turned into the mode that, well, something truly bizarre. Here's a quote. I don't even know how to describe what I'm seeing in this IGN demo video. Apparently, the cloud destruction is so taxing that every map has to be just a series of geometric shapes rather than anything resembling the city of the open world mode, and the result is something that looks like a VR game gone wrong at the best, or a barely scraped together tech demo at worst. Even the destruction itself is underwhelming and weird, and not even on par with what we see in Battlefield games or ancient titles like Red Faction, from what I can tell. And this is a game that comes out in less than 2 weeks. February 15. I mean, what? Wow, that's quite scathing, isn't it? While Microsoft and Xbox are working to get back on track to be a brand that produces must-have exclusives like Sony and Nintendo, this seems like it's going to be a pretty significant moment for the dark ages here, a game that has languished in development for years and then was ultimately released to be. From what was really shown, Tassi said he was having significant trouble in even giving it the benefit of doubt, as he couldn't imagine how a good game could possibly emerge from this footage. The good news about Crackdown 3 is that it will be a part of the Xbox Game Pass service, meaning it's free for anyone who has that, and if you own an Xbox One, you really should have it, meaning you can essentially try it at virtually risk-free without having to spend that $60 for a digital or physical retail copy. Tassi says he can't imagine risking $60 based on what he's seen and what's been shown, and for the years of development, and now in its literal launch month. The only good thing Tassi said he had seen in that, even adjacent to this game, is the involvement of Terry Crews. Likeable, funny, and full of charisma as he is, Tassi feels it will not be enough to save Crackdown 3 from mediocrity. With all Microsoft's new acquisitions, you get the sense that they're going to get exclusives that aren't Forza and Halo right. Eventually, but in a sea of titles that have been scrapped before this, I am genuinely amazed that Crackdown 3 has actually made it to release. And Paul Tassi ends his critique with this quote. Yeah, I'll play it. I kinda have to. I have to see if it's better than it looks, because it cannot possibly be worse. But man, this has to be one of the weirdest high-profile exclusive sagas this generation, and I am desperate to know what happened here. Ooh, that is deep. Now my thoughts. Incidentally, Variety, that magazine, has quoted as stating, really, Crackdown 3 is less than it was meant to be, but still stupid fun. And that's a lot more encouraging, I suppose. But I received a little pushback during the Gamer Couch podcast returns yesterday, which, because some mistakenly thought I was crusading for, trying to defend Crackdown 3. Ladies and gentlemen, let me make this absolutely clear. If a game is truly terrible, it is, by its own definition, indefensible. I was merely communicating my reluctance to trash Crackdown 3 before having any hands-on experience with it. I do not take the experience of others. I don't apologize for it either. Sure, I can agree just at first glance the animation is definitely from the PlayStation 2, say OG Xbox era, and the multiplayer-only destruction seems to have been downgraded significantly, but I gotta say, visually it's not nearly as bad as some are making out. It looks crisp, clean, with its cel-shaded aesthetic. Definitely an improvement over State of Decay 2, at least in my opinion. Though it must be said, with Sea of Thieves, State of Decay 2 already released to average, middling, underwhelming reviews. Though I did enjoy State of Decay 2 courtesy of Game Pass for a few weeks before, post-release rather, but then soon lost interest with zero motivation to complete the game. Now Crackdown 3 is soon to be pushed out the door. Does this at all bode well for the next generation of Xbox systems? Will the likes of Halo, Forza and Gears be enough to get more players onto the platform? Because, as I mentioned in the Gamer Couch podcast returns episode 92 just yesterday, it seems that Microsoft are only allocating its biggest share of game budgets to those three specifically, and everything else the Redmond firm releases seems to be low to mid-budget productions that exist merely to bolster the company's Xbox Game Pass service. But what say you? Share your thoughts in the comments. And in our final news segment, joining the fake spec leaks, fake future of PlayStation February 20 invites sent out to numerous high-profile media outlets who actually fell for it, some of them, and fake mock-up designs of the PS5 console itself. As for really what Donald often says, fake news Fake news, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, prepare yourself for more. This time a fake PlayStation 5 domain allegedly registered by Sony Corporation. Ooh, here we go again. Source via PlayStationLifestyle.com. Here's the full fakery. Now that we know Sony is gearing up to unveil its next generation console, tentatively titled or called PlayStation 5, it's not unusual to see the internet flooded with a magnitude of rumors and reports. Scammers are also finding ways to dupe people, a recent example of which is the dodgy PlayStation meeting invite and now the registration of the PlayStation 5.pro domain. A Reset Era user found that the PlayStation 5.pro had been recently registered with leading content delivery company Akamai Technologies listed as the hosting provider. Interestingly, the domain redirected users to the official PlayStation.com website, leading people to believe that Sony had registered the domain and that the company is developing 2 iterations of the hardware. Not quite. Like us, many others were skeptical, especially because the website displays a security warning, and did some digging to get to the bottom of things. It appears that the domain was registered by a known scammer that operates as Shanghai Mishang Technology Information Development Company Limited. Now, naturally, I'd like to stress caution. Caution to viewers, Foxy Games UK subscribers, or anybody against clicking on any such links or visiting the aforementioned website. If Sony does end up registering any domains, well, I'll be sure to update you, but just in the interest of viruses and other types of malware, do not click on these dodgy sites, please. Now, in the meantime, check out the extensive coverage of PlayStation 5 on this very channel, including a Sony patent which is obviously and officially registered, of course, that hints at backwards compatibility. Digital Foundry's John Linneman is one of many who believe that Sony's next hardware will absolutely come with backward compatibility. I've been saying it since day one. Now, as we get ever closer to something officially PlayStation 5, expect the fake news to continue. It will not end here, ladies and gentlemen. Thank goodness I don't bite the bait, dedicating an entire video pushing the false narratives that others are putting out there. Like I said, I have my go-tos and I'm very confident in those sources. Though, as usual, I'm sure you'll have your say in the comments. And for all your current and next-gen news updates, rumor and rampant speculation, hit the like button, spread the word, and keep it locked to Foxy Games UK. Do remember, relevant links where applicable can be found in this video's description, and while you are there, share your thoughts and opinions on today's news, because that unfortunately brings us to the end of yet another video. Yes, I know, but let's continue the discussion in the comments. Subscribe to Foxy Games UK, remember to hit the notification bell so you never miss content, and thumbs up if you like it here, very important that, and help us reach more like-minded gamers simply by sharing this video. You can consider supporting Foxy Games UK via Patreon, and or grab yourself a Foxy Games UK branded t-shirt or hoodie available in various colors and designs. You'll find both links in this video's description. I truly appreciate all your support. And that concludes our time together on this rainy, wet Monday here in the UK. It was great hanging out despite that, and you've been thoroughly well behaved. So until the next video, always remember, play games, not corporations.